What if I told you that for centuries, gardeners and herbalists relied on a leafy green far more versatile than lettuce? A plant that thrived in shade, could be harvested weekly, never turned bitter, and supplied nutrients that modern science now confirms as profoundly beneficial. Yet today, it is nearly forgotten, dismissed as a garden oddity or a niche herb. Imagine a vegetable that could grow in corners where sunlight barely touches, feeding your family continuously without the risk of bolting or developing bitterness. Consider that its nutritional density rivals or even exceeds many commercially promoted greens, yet it never reached the supermarket shelves in prominence. For decades, entire generations were told to focus on lettuce and supermarket staples, while this plant's potential quietly vanished from common gardens. Once, it was indispensable. In the 18th and 19th centuries, old gardening manuals and household guides recommended it as a weekly staple. Farmers, doctors, and midwives valued it for both sustenance and medicinal properties. But somewhere along the line, its cultivation declined. Its reputation diminished. And now, most people dismiss it without ever knowing why it was once so essential. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what this plant is, why it was suppressed, and who benefited from keeping it out of your garden. You'll discover the truths that were buried, the money that shaped our food choices, and the reality of a vegetable that could have changed the way we eat forever. This channel is dedicated to uncovering truth in everyday practices, from what we eat to how systems operate. We follow the money, expose what was buried, and challenge narratives that shape public perception. Every investigation is rooted in documented evidence, never speculation. Here, fact comes first, always. Subscribe to join a community committed to seeing past the surface, because understanding history, science, and economics protects you from manipulation. In a world where information can be controlled, staying informed is the first act of independence. The plant we're talking about is mache, also known as lamb's lettuce or corn salad. This is not a trend, a marketing fad, or a seasonal novelty. Its value is historical, scientific, and nutritional. Before you dismiss it as just another leafy green, understand, this is not what you were told about ordinary greens. It has been overlooked not because it lacked merit, but because broader systems had reasons to favor other crops. Mache has been cultivated for centuries across Europe, appreciated for its mild flavor, resilience, and health benefits. Its history is intertwined with medicine, agriculture, and diet in ways most modern gardeners never consider. Mache is remarkable in its nutrient density. A 100-gram serving provides vitamin C at levels comparable to orange's vitamin A through beta-carotene, supporting vision and immunity, iron and manganese, crucial for blood health and enzymatic processes omega-3 fatty acids, unusual in leafy greens, which support cardiovascular health beyond vitamins. It contains polyphenol and antioxidants that interact with human cellular mechanisms. Its compounds modulate oxidative stress, support inflammatory balance, and assist in detoxification pathways. Unlike industrial supplements, mache delivers these nutrients in bioavailable forms the body recognizes naturally. It grows in shade, meaning it can be cultivated without intense sunlight or costly infrastructure. It regenerates weekly, reducing the need for repeated planting. It is cheap, scalable, and immune to monopolization. In practical terms, a home or community garden growing mache can offer sustained, high-quality nutrition year-round. In many ways, its effects rival marketed pharmaceuticals aimed at mild anemia, antioxidant deficiencies, or inflammation management, without side effects and at a fraction of the cost. If this plant is so effective, accessible, and valuable, why has it been removed from common gardens, neglected in public discourse, and overshadowed by lettuce and other commercial greens? The answer lies not in its taste or cultivation difficulty, but in history, economics, and policy. This is where the story turns from horticulture into power. Middle Ages to 18th century. Mache was a staple in European gardens, especially in France, Germany, and the Netherlands. Apothecaries prescribed it for digestive issues, anemia, and general wellness. 18th to 19th century. Culinary guides and agricultural manuals described weekly harvest cycles and praised its mild flavor. Even in urban homes, it was cultivated indoors during winter. Early 20th century. Industrial agriculture began emphasizing lettuce, spinach, and kale due to their uniformity, transportability, and market branding potential. Threats to industry. Mache grows quickly in small spaces, regenerates often, and cannot be patented or commodified easily. This made it unattractive to emerging agribusinesses, fertilizer companies, and seed monopolies. Regulation and marginalization. During the mid-20th century, public campaigns promoted modern vegetables, often sidelining traditional greens. Mache cultivation declined, not through legal bans, but through economic marginalization and urbanization policies. Key actors, seed companies, supermarket chains, and agricultural boards all benefited from standardized, high-profit crops, pushing diversity and older staples like mache into obscurity. Public opinion was shaped through repetition. Gardeners were told lettuce is easier, faster, more reliable. School textbooks and popular gardening guides rarely mentioned traditional greens. Media presented exotic, high-yield vegetables as superior, emphasizing commercial appeal over health. Language reinforced these ideas: trendy, modern, safe, versus outdated, slow, medieval. The effect was subtle but intentional. Traditional knowledge was dismissed as old-fashioned, undermining local food autonomy. The consequences were not abstract. Communities reliant on small gardens lost access to nutrient-dense foods. Families faced preventable deficiencies because simple, resilient greens were overlooked. Farmers who continued to grow non-commercial crops were pressured economically or socially. Even if arrests were not common, the suppression of traditional knowledge caused measurable health and cultural impacts. One overlooked vegetable led to generations missing out on a natural, reliable source of vitamins. Today, research confirms what old gardeners knew. Shade-tolerant leafy greens like mache outperform lettuce nutritionally in multiple categories. Weekly harvesting cycles increase food availability and minimize waste. Fears of inferior taste or low yield were exaggerated. Modern studies show high consumer acceptance. Where people have revived traditional crops, gardens thrive, diets improve, and prior warnings fail entirely. Industries maintaining the status quo include agribusiness corporations favoring high yield, transport-friendly crops, seed companies profiting from patentable varieties, supermarkets and distributors incentivized to push standard products. The incentive structure remains simple, resilient. Non-patentable greens like mache are inconvenient to large-scale profit models. The result? Suppression continues, not for safety, taste, or quality, but for financial and structural control. Mache was never a risky, obscure plant. Its marginalization was deliberate, rooted in economics and control. Nutritionally, agriculturally, and historically, it was superior in many contexts. The narrative of neglect was not accidental. You were not ignorant. You were systematically misinformed, guided toward crops that benefited corporations rather than your health. Understanding this shifts the perception from lost vegetable to a broader awareness of food systems, economics, and cultural suppression. The next time you plant a garden, consider who truly benefits from what is promoted and what is ignored. Grow mache. Research it independently. Compares nutrition, taste, and growth to mainstream alternatives. Engage in discussions. Question what authorities, markets, and media present as normal. By acting, you reclaim not just a vegetable, but knowledge deliberately buried for decades. Share your findings. Comment. Debate. And remember, truth is not discovered passively. It is grown, nurtured, and harvested.